Welcome, and thank you for taking the time to be here. My name is Donovan Vicente, and this is The More We Know Financial Guidance Podcast. Here, we talk about money, protection, and planning in a way that reflects real life, not just perfect situations on paper. And because everyone's situation is different, understanding your options is the first step towards making confident financial decisions. So with that said, let's get into today's topic. Hey everyone, welcome back to the More We Know Financial Guidance Podcast. It's been a minute, but I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to have a little fun with this one, so let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going to start this episode a little differently. Before I explain anything, I'm going to ask you 4 quick questions to help uncover your money personality. Each question will have 4 possible answers, A, B, C, or D. And here's the most important rule. Don't overthink it. Choose the answer that sounds most like what you would actually do, not the answer that sounds the most responsible, the most organized, or the one you think you're supposed to choose. Because let's be honest, most of us already know what the good money answer is supposed to be. Whether that is what we actually do in real life, well, that's where things get a little bit interesting. So keep track of the letter you choose for each question. You can write them down, use the Notes app on your phone, or just remember them in your head. There are only 4 questions, so I have faith in you. But before we get to the real questions, let's do one quick practice round, all right? All right. So imagine you suddenly have a completely free Saturday. What are you most likely to do? A, make a plan and get a few things done. B, go out, have fun, and see where the day takes you. C, check whether a friend or family member wants to do something. Or D, decide later depending on how you feel that day. Pick whichever answer sounds the most like you. That was just a practice round, so you don't need to keep that letter. But that is exactly how the real 4 questions will work. Nothing hard, just pick the answer that jumps out at you first. Deal? Again, don't overthink it, and no changing your answers halfway through. By the end, we'll see what your choices might be telling us. All right, let's get to question number 1. All right, question number 1. Imagine you receive an unexpected $500. Maybe it's a refund, a bonus, or money you found lying on the ground. What are you most likely to do first? A, check what expenses are coming up before deciding where it should go. B, use some of it to make the next few weeks a little easier or more enjoyable. C, leave it alone for now because something unexpected might come up later. Or D, think about what would be most useful for you and the people who depend on you. Choose the answer that sounds most like what you would actually do. Again, not what you think you should do. Got your letter? All right, keep it in mind and let's move on to question number 2. You've been wanting to buy something for yourself for a while and now you finally have enough money to get it. What are you most likely to do? A, buy it and enjoy the fact that you finally made it happen. B, look at everything else going on before deciding whether now's the right time to buy it. C, change the plan if another need becomes more important. Or D, ask yourself whether the purchase still fits what you are trying to accomplish in your life right now. Again, choose the answer that sounds most like what you would actually do, not the answer that sounds the best. Got it? All right, keep that letter in mind and let's move on to question number 3. A friend or family member invites you to a last-minute weekend trip, but it's going to cost you more than you expected. What are you most likely to do? A, think about whether the people are going are really counting on you to be there. B, wait a little and see how the rest of the week plays out before deciding. C, check what bills and expenses are coming up before saying yes. Or D, go for it because sometimes the experience is worth the money. Pick the answer that sounds most like what you would actually do. Got your letter? All right, keep it in mind. We got one more question to go. All right, here's the 4th and final question. Your paycheck is smaller than expected, but you already made plans for the weekend. What are you most likely to do? A, keep the plans and figure out where you can cut back somewhere else. B, look at what bills are coming up and adjust your plans from there. C, handle whatever feels most urgent first and work out the rest as you go. Or D, talk it over with the people involved and decide what makes the most sense for everyone. Go with the answer that sounds most like what you would actually do and not what you think you should do. Again, got your final letter ready? All right, now let's see what those answers might be telling us. Congratulations, you made it through all 4 questions. Now it's time to find out what those answers were actually telling us. And no, you cannot just count how many A's, B's, C's, or D's you picked, because I mixed up the order on purpose. I didn't want to make it too easy for you. So look at the answer you chose for each question and match it with the personality shown on the screen. Let's go through question 1 together. For question 1, if you chose the letter C, you can see from the chart that C represents the adapter personality. So you would count that as 1 point for adapter. Now do the same thing with your answers for the remaining 3 questions and count how many times each personality appears. Whichever one shows up the most is probably the personality you lean towards most often. And if you have a tie, don't worry, that just means more than one personality might be telling on you. Once you have your results, leave it in the comments. Are you a planner, enjoyer, helper, adapter, or a mix of 2? All right, got your results? Let's find out what it means. But before we start breaking down each personality, let me say one thing. This little quiz is not meant to put you in a box or follow you around for the rest of your life like some permanent money label. It is simply a fun way to notice the patterns that may show up in the choices you make, and those patterns do not appear out of nowhere. As we talked about in episode 2, our experiences with family, culture, income, stress, and opportunity can all shape how we think and behave around money. So if you want to explore more about where some of these habits may come from, go back and check out the Money Mindset episode. But for now, we are going to focus on how those habits may be showing up today. And remember, every personality has strengths, and every personality has a few habits that can get them in trouble. All right, let's see what your results say about you. First up is a planner. If this was your result, you probably like knowing where your money is going before it goes anywhere. You may check what bills are coming up, think ahead before making a purchase, and feel better when there is some kind of plan in place. Your strength is that you are usually prepared. You tend to think beyond today, and that can help you avoid a lot of financial surprises. But here's where the planner can get into trouble. Sometimes planning turns into overthinking. You may spend so much time trying to make the perfect decision that you delay making any decision at all. And unfortunately, I fall into that category. Or you may feel guilty spending money even when the purchase is reasonable and already fits into your plan. Basically, your money may be organized, but your brain is still holding a full committee meeting about whether you can buy lunch. A helpful reminder for the planner is this. A good financial plan should help you feel more confident, not make you afraid to use your money. So keep planning ahead, but leave a little room to enjoy the money you worked hard to earn. Does that sound like you? All right, let's move on to the next personality. Next up is the enjoyer. If this was your result, you probably see money as something that can make life a little better right now. You may enjoy treating yourself, going out, buying something you have been wanting, or using money to create a good experience. And honestly, there is nothing wrong with that. Your strength is that you understand money is not only for bills, emergencies, and future plans. Money can also be used to enjoy life, make memories, and take care of yourself in the present. But here is where the enjoyer can get into trouble. Sometimes I deserve this can turn into, wait, where did my money go? And that is usually not because of one huge purchase. A lot of times it is the small things, the quick food stop, the extra item in the cart, the subscription you forgot about, or the little treat that somehow became a weekly tradition. The enjoyer does not need to stop enjoying life. The helpful reminder is this. Enjoy your money on purpose, not by accident. That means giving yourself room to spend, but also knowing how much room you actually have. So if you are an enjoyer, the goal is not to remove all the fun. It is to make sure the fun is not quietly stealing from your future self. Does that one sound familiar? All right, let's move on to the next personality. Now let's talk about the helper. If this was your result, money may not just feel like something for you. It may feel like something that is connected to family, community, and the people around you. You may be the person who tries to help when someone is short on gas, needs food, has an emergency, or just needs a little support to get through the week. And let me be clear, Being generous is not a bad thing. Your strength is that you care. You understand that money can be used to support people, not just collect in an account somewhere. But here is where the helper can get into trouble. Sometimes helping others can quietly turn into hurting yourself financially. You may say yes before checking your own bills. You may give money you actually need it for something else. Or you may feel guilty saying no, even when no is the responsible answer. And that can put you in a difficult spot because now you are trying to recover from the same emergency you were trying to help someone else avoid. A helpful reminder for the helper is this. Helping others works best when you are not draining yourself in the process. That does not mean you stop caring. It means you create a boundary so your kindness does not become your financial stress. So if you are a helper, one small step is to decide ahead of time how much you can safely help with each month. That way, when someone asks, you are not making the decision from guilt. You are making it from a plan. Does that sound like you? All right, let's move on to the final personality. And finally, we have the adapter. If this was your result, you may be the type of person who figures things out as life happens. You may not always have a strict plan, but you are flexible. If something changes, you adjust. If money is tight, you find a way. If the month does not go the way you expected, you start moving things around and make it work somehow. And honestly, this is a real strength. The adapter is often resourceful. You may be used to changing work schedules, irregular income, unexpected expenses, or situations where every month looks a little bit different. And that can be especially true if you are self-employed, doing side work, selling food, doing seasonal work, getting paid by 1099, or just living in a household where money does not always flow in the same way every month. But here's where the adapter can get into trouble. Sometimes I'll figure it out can turn into, I never really looked at the full picture. And when that happens, important things can sneak up on you, like taxes, slower income months, car repairs, school expenses, or bills that only come around once in a great while. The adapter does not need a complicated system. The helpful reminder is this. Flexibility works best when you still have something to guide you. So if you are an adapter, the goal is not to force yourself into a strict budget that does not fit your life. The goal is to create a simple way to see what is coming in, what is going out, and what may be coming up next. Because when you can see the numbers clearly, you are not just reacting anymore. You are adapting with a plan. Does that sound like you? All right, now that we've gone through all 4 personalities, let's talk about what we can actually do with this information. So now that you have your results, the question is, what do you actually do with it? Because the point of this episode is not just to say, oh, I'm a planner, or yep, I'm definitely an enjoyer, and then move on with life. The point is to notice your pattern. If you are a planner, your next step may be giving yourself permission to use your money without feeling guilty every time. If you are an enjoyer, your next step may be deciding ahead of time how much fun money you actually have, so the fun does not turn into stress later. If you are a helper, your next step may be setting a boundary so you can support others without putting yourself in a difficult position. And if you are an adapter, your next step may be creating a simple system to track what is coming in, what is going out, and what might be coming up next. Because once you understand your pattern, you can start making choices with more intention. And that is really the whole goal. It's not perfection, it's not shame, and it's not trying to become a completely different person overnight. Just noticing what you usually do, understanding why it may happen, and choosing one small thing you can improve from there is what the goal is really about. So here is your challenge for this week. For the next 7 days, pay attention to your money personality in real life, not just when you're watching this episode. I mean, when you are out at the store, when you are deciding whether to eat out, when someone asks you for help, when a bill comes in, or when you check your account and immediately start questioning your entire life. Just pause for a second and ask yourself, which part of me is making this decision right now? Is it the planner, the enjoyer, the helper, or the adapter? You do not have to judge it. You do not have to fix everything right away. Just notice it, because sometimes awareness is the first step toward change. And here's the big thing. Once you start noticing your patterns, it becomes a lot easier to see where your money is actually going. That is why in the next episode, we are going to build on this and talk about money in and money out, not in a complicated way, just a simple way to understand what is coming in, what is going out, and what your money might be telling on you. So this week, watch your choices. Your money habits may be saying more than you think. Okay, so as we wrap this up, here's the main thing I hope you take from this episode. Your money habits are not random. They usually come from somewhere. They usually serve some kind of purpose, and they usually tell us something about how we respond to stress, opportunity, responsibility, and the people around us. So whether you are a planner, an enjoyer, a helper, an adapter, or a mix of a few, the goal is not to judge yourself. The goal is to understand yourself, because when you understand your patterns, you can start making small changes that actually fit your life. And if this episode helped you see something about your own money habits, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which personality showed up for you. And if you have questions about your own situation, whether that is around budgeting, protection planning, life insurance, or just trying to make sense of where your money is going, feel free to reach out. I can help you look at your financial picture one-on-one and talk through what options may fit your needs. And as always, the information shared here is general and educational, so make sure to speak with a qualified professional before making any major financial decisions. Thank you for watching and listening to the More We Know Financial Guidance Podcast. Keep learning, keep noticing your patterns, and remember, the more we know, the more we grow.